really today what I wanted to talk to you about is standing out in the crowd. So we work with a lot of business owners. We publish magazines for entrepreneurs and business owners alike who are trying to stand out in a really crowded marketplace. And, you know, in a few of your articles that I really enjoyed, the rule of 7, and particularly how to be the next Neil Patel, or as you watch it, you say, or Tony Robbins or somebody else. But I like the Neil Patel angle. So, you know, you give lots of awesome tips like, you know, blogging, speaking, podcasts, educational videos, caring for your customers, commenting, SEO, social web, paid ads, and then content, which we really value. So I just wanted to ask you, if you were told right now you've only got 3 things that you're allowed to do to market yourself and your business, so everything else you can't use any more than 3 tools, what would those 3 top tools be?
Google Analytics, because you got to track what you're doing. Uber
Yep.
Suggest, because it shows you how to improve, you know, from your search traffic to keywords you should be going after, etc.
Yep.
And then the third tool would be vidIQ, because it helps you optimize YouTube. I believe YouTube is the future, video marketing in general, not just YouTube. But YouTube gives you a lot of evergreen content, and it's amazing for branding, not just on a corporate level, but also for a personal branding level.
Yeah, and that's a really good tip. And I think, you know, for us working with our business owners and entrepreneurs, you know, putting themselves on video, they all need to get over that, because we all can do that. Oh, well, I'm talking from my perspective now, that my hair needs to be washed or whatever it is. So, you know, video, I think I agree with you, is one of the most powerful tools that we can utilize in our marketing mix. Educational videos, is that where you see it's at though? It's not just, you know, creating content for content's sake. Is it taking the blogs that you've written and then, you know, creating those into a video to talk to people, to educate them on a particular topic?
Yeah, you know, once you educate, what you'll find out is you'll build loyalty because you're helping someone and you're not asking for anything in return. And then over time, they'll continue to follow you. It goes into the rule of 7, in which people see you 7 times, interact with your brand 7 times, they get to know you. There's much more of a bond. They're more likely to convert. But yeah, you just gotta be out there, you know, in front of their faces. And when you're doing video and you're promoting, you know, why not get out there, not just on YouTube, but you can also get out there on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, leverage all the channels. Yeah,
it's really powerful. And it's one of the things that I'm constantly saying to our clients and our readers of our magazines is, you know, if you're not out there and putting yourself out there, then how are people supposed to hear about you? So, you know, and I agree. I think providing invaluable content, you know, we are big believers in content. My background, I come from a magazine publishing world. And even though the traditional world of magazines is, you know, unfortunately for a lot of my friends who were employed in magazines, it's not the way it used to be, but it's still at the end of the day content wrapped up in a vehicle that can be delivered to people to give massive value. So I on that content, so, you know, I read in a blog that you'd done a little while ago that, you know, it was really interesting actually. It was talking about at least 1 blog a week. And then to outsource and leverage that tool, but also, you know, that it can take people up to 6 hours because they're writing 2,000 words. So when people are looking to write blogs, is it the same principles what you're talking about with video, just to educate, just to be there to, because I read a lot of blogs, and I'm sure you do too, where it's very much self-promotion. So your tips for the best blogging would be?
My tips for best...
or the strategy to
my
blogging?
Tips for a few things. 1, use the words you and I within your text. Makes it seem more like a conversation. 2, and sorry for my voice, just getting over being sick.
That's all right, no problem. You sound great.
And 2, the other thing is keep your paragraph short and to the point, like 5-6 lines max. It keeps it easier to skim. 3, use subheadings. 4, focus on the headline. Make it appealing. Think of like magazine articles, lists, how-tos. All that helps. 8 out of 10 people read your headline, but only 2 out of 10 will click through and read the rest. In addition to that, make sure that whenever someone's reading something, you've broken it down in such a simple way that they can take action out of it. If they can't take action out of it, it won't work well. Wow.
Well, I'm a content marketer and I've got gold out of that. I'm not writing it down. I'm going to record it and I'm going to play this back and listen to that really slowly, and I'm going to give it to all my team. They're really powerful tips. And I think I think business owners can get caught up in, I'm just going to stick a blog on, I just got to get the blog done. So I think I'm going to create a formula out of that, the Neil Patel formula to a great blog, and share it with all our clients. That's super powerful. Thank you so much. That was really great. So I've got a couple of tools that I think personally that business owners and entrepreneurs and brands aren't really utilising. They've been around for a long time, but I think personally, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on a couple of them that I think aren't being utilised as effectively as they could be. And the first one is LinkedIn. How do you see LinkedIn being utilised as a tool for business owners and brands to stand out?
Yeah, so look, LinkedIn has one of the biggest B2B communities out there. And on LinkedIn, if you can engage with people in groups, on profiles, create videos, what you'll find is you'll generate leads. Now, that's one way of doing well on LinkedIn. Another strategy that you could just do with LinkedIn is look at all your contacts, see who could be great out there for potential customers, hit them up. Not only could you generate revenue at the same time, but by educating, helping them out, networking with them, you're also building up your brand at the same time.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think people have used it as a resume or a CV, to put their here's who I am. But to me, and what we're trying to educate people out there about the way to utilize LinkedIn is to imagine it's like a meetup or a networking, the key to great networking is to be interested, not interesting, and to, give information and share and help people out. And in turn, they're going to want to help you. And I think that's the strategy to use for LinkedIn. And it's kind of what you're saying you say it so often in so many of your blog posts is care and comment, and I think that's the part that people are missing as well on LinkedIn is that they're not showing enough care, a lot of care about themselves, but not enough care about the people that they're connecting with. And the other tool that I think you've written a really great blog, which I'll link into this interview as well, is about PR. And you wrote a great blog about how, the tools for a startup using PR. So how do you see PR as a tool to help business? I mean, it's to me one of the most powerful tools to help people stand out. Do you, see PR as a strategy that business owners should be using?
Yeah, I do think PR is a huge strategy that people should be using. And the thing with PR is it doesn't necessarily increase your revenue quite drastically or anything like that or drive a ton of traffic. But what it does do is it gives you credibility. Mm-hmm. And that credibility is well worth it. And that's what I would recommend using, PR for. And it's hard, it's not easy, but in the long run, you can do well from it.
Yeah, and I think you gave some great tips in your article about, the product, the purpose, and the passion. And I think that's a really great formula for people to think about when they're talking about their PR is to look at those three things. We always, because I've come from the other side where I've worked and, received the press releases from business owners and companies trying to get an article written. And I think where they miss the boat potentially is that they forget that there's someone on the other end that's got to try and create a story out of it. So if you can do the work for the journalist and tie in those three things that you've talked about, then I think, that you got a better chance of getting picked up by the media now. And, now more than ever, unfortunately, where there used to be 12 journalists, there's one. So the more work you can do for them, the better. And the final question I have is more around existing customers. So, obviously business owners spend a lot of time in acquisition and acquiring customers and getting their message out there using the tools we've talked about today. But as far as retention goes, do you have any tips and ideas that we can share on, standing out in a retention space, in making yourself, show that you care for existing customers?
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just continually follow up and provide value. So if you have a list of these names and contacts, if you don't continue to follow up with them and give them advice and help them out, then they're going to go cold. It's not just about selling, it's about giving, and then eventually selling once you're ready and you warmed them up.
Yeah. And look, I know that sounds like the most obvious answer and the most obvious question in the world, but it really does. I don't know if you come across it, but it never ceases to amaze me, even in my own transactions with businesses and also, working with people, that you give them your email address and then you never hear from them again unless they might be doing a desperate sale 6 months later to try and get rid of some stock. So I think that tip alone is, even though it sounded very, of course, this is what you do. You care for people and you nurture them. It's something that's really underutilized by businesses because they are so focused on the sale. and they don't realise the power of referral business and looking after existing customers. So that's it from me, Neil. I really appreciate your time. I hope you get well back on deck after you're not feeling so well. And congratulations again on the birth of your daughter. I'm hopping over to LA at the end of the year, so maybe I'll cross paths with you, and we're spending 3 months over there at the end of the year. So we'll touch base and see if we can catch up, and I can shout you a coffee.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much, Neil.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.